going to be a wild Wednesday. Good morning, everybody. Nice to have you aboard. The Big Orange Caravan was in town last night. Rick Barnes was talking about sticking to a budget. It's so weird to hear these coaches, old school coaches, that talk about money and sticking to their budget and saying when he was asked about, some guy who might try to negotiate for more, he said he's had that happen, but that he figures that the school's money is his money, and that's how he's going to take care of it, and he wouldn't do that. I'm not sure that's 100% right. I am 100% certain he will not play the University of Memphis. Asked about it again, and he got pissed. Can I say that? I guess in this day and age you can. Pissed that it was even asked that question. And it all stems from the acrimony between the series that Memphis had with Tennessee, that Rick Barnes' team won here, Memphis' team won in Knoxville, and Game 3 was canceled because the Tigers got COVID. This always sticks in my mind. And I'm not saying Penny didn't have some culpability in this dysfunction between the two schools and animosity and basically no relationship whatsoever. But Rick Barnes, when he heard that Memphis wasn't going to play that game in Nashville, and I was there, and I was there for his little media scrum, and I asked him questions, he did not care one iota about the health of the kids, of the guys. All he was mad because the Tigers couldn't play and that they had made that trip. And I understand being a little frustrated, but without care at all about the other players, that always stuck with me. And listen, I respect guys like Bob Kessling and my friend Craig Way, who's been on this show, and he was his play-by-play guy at Texas for a long time. And they have a great deal of respect for Rick Barnes. So I appreciate that. But my perception of Barnes from that moment is not a good one. And my perception of Barnes with the way he reacted, now Penny made public his displeasure with Tennessee at that point, and I think with Rick Barnes. And so I can understand to a certain extent that there would be this lack of love, let me put it that way. But to never consider playing Memphis again when fans want it, I think Tennessee fans even want that. I know plenty of Tennessee fans that think the Vols should play the Tigers. Now, there's plenty that don't. What have they got to win in this? And I get it. But when Rick Barnes says last night, well, we got new schools coming into the league, how long ago is that? And we just played in the best conference because it's the hardest. It's been that way for a long time. That's Mike Slive, who got that fixed years ago. That's just bull. Why don't you just come out and say, I don't like Penny, and as long as he's the coach, I'm not going to play him? Because that's the truth. That's the way it is. Rick Barnes, that kind of just gets to me. Tigers did submit their waiver for Dane Danger. So now it's a question of where the NCAA sits in this. And what did that waiver say? Because I know the waiver is going to say medically, and we all thought it was the COVID year, but it's not. It's, I believe, the year after he played 3 games and he transferred voluntarily, was not forced off the Baylor team, went of his own volition to the University of Illinois. I think he's got medical evidence that there were issues of pain and problems that he couldn't really play, at least not at an efficient level to be a factor. So, and then I don't know, but he might be saying there was mental health issues that forced him to leave Baylor and Waco, Texas, to go to Champaign, Illinois. And if that's the case, usually when that play is used medically, and if you've got some proof of mental distress, then your chances are enhanced. I don't know if that's the way he's going, but we will see if that is indeed the card that is played. So we'll have to wait and see. I know Vieira Tuck, Patino, they all made it official. Ashton Hardaway made it official. Ashton gives you, honestly, some flexibility because let's just say they don't go to 15 and you saw that list of 100 players that came out. If a bunch of those become available because they don't get in the NBA, let's face it, there's only 60 spots that are those that are used for draft. Now there are some two-way guys that could get you to 100 if you are amongst that. But there are going to be guys that are going to go, okay, I didn't get what I wanted. I thought I'd get drafted. I don't like the prospects here. I'm going to go back in. Those guys are going to be available. And if you don't go to 15, because the judge in California hasn't decided this case yet, which is still on hold, the House settlement, then you've got, with Ashton, you have got a lot of flexibility because you don't have to put him as a scholarship player if they stay at 13 and a bunch of these guys become available. So, that is basically where we stand with the Tigers today as they continue to build that team. This is an amazing thing. And then we have got a busy show. Dennis Philippi is here. It'll become Dennis time momentarily. Joe Dank on the business of sports. We got lots to talk about. And we make golf picks, of which Johnny Lyon, who has been a winner, is dead last. And Mickey Barker just continues to dominate the scene. Although last week, Greg Hines from Windike, he joined the fray and immediately had a win with Novak and Griffin in the team play in New Orleans at the Zurich. So he is going to go second to last. This is amazing to me this year. We talked a little bit earlier about power and what is going on in baseball. And I didn't mention the Aaron Judge year, and a big Yankee fanatic sent me the numbers. Do you realize that Aaron Judge is number one in total hits, number one in RBI, number one in OPS, number one in runs scored, number one batting average? He's hitting .412. Now, we know that's going down, but .412 at this point, that's pretty darn impressive. And he's third in home runs, but he's got 9, and there's 2 leaders that have 10. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories. We've all gone crazy for Triple Crown. What if this guy won all 6 of those categories? Well, what would that be called? Is that sextuplet? The sextuplet crown? That's pretty darn amazing stuff. That is for sure. We're going to talk with our good friend Dennis Philippi momentarily here. I will let you know it's brought to you by Dinstall's, and Mother's Day is right around the corner, and Dinstall's is preparing all of her favorites, from cashew crunch to truffles and, of course, the great turtlettes. And don't forget the chocolate-covered strawberries. They're still in big fashion. Grapes and pineapple, they'll cover their famous chocolate with that too. You can place your order now and say, I love you, Mom, with Dinstall's. It gets no better than that. You can't get more affection back. If you give your mother chocolate-covered strawberries, you're in good for a year, I promise you. Just go to Dinstall's, 5 locations. They got you covered in the Burbs, Germantown and Collierville, downtown. Then there's my neck of the woods in Laurelwood, and where they make it in Pleasant View. Suddenly, we got a time shift.
It's time for Dennis on Dave. Dennis on Dave. Dennis on Dave.
Welcome to Dennis on Dave.
Good morning, Dennis. I'm sure there's plenty of NBA on your mind.
I've got it, but since you mentioned Aaron Judge, he hit his 9th, but the truth is Aaron Judge and the skipper both believe he actually should have 10.
I agree with that. They should count that, because that was clearly a fair ball in Tampa when they played the Rays in the minor league ballpark, which actually is their spring training site.
Yeah, but it was a terrible call. He should have 10 home runs. Get this. Judge is hitting over 400.
Yeah.
He joins Mickey Mantle in 56 and Lou Gehrig in 27 to be the only 3 Yankees to have 9 home runs and hit over 400 in the first 30 games of a season.
That's
That is
incredible.
rarefied air.
And the 27 Yankees considered the greatest team of all time.
And get this. Last year at this time, Aaron Judge was hitting .207. And he won MVP of the AL last year and went to the World Series.
I know. So, but you're thinking, can he have that kind of production at the back end this year like this? We might have a 400 hitter if that were the case.
I mean, yeah.
But that can't happen.
But considering how much he improved over the course of last season, if he continues to actually improve this year, it would be unprecedented. And he is such a good guy. That's one of the greatest things about Aaron Judge, and really most of the superstars in baseball, is that they're really good guys. You like them.
My favorite thing with him was this year when the torpedo bat first came out and everybody was going crazy over it. He goes, "I'm not changing. Why would I change?"
He's still swinging with the same pipe cleaner that he always has, and he's killing it. Sad news, sticking with baseball briefly, sad news, you may have seen this, that Mets superfan Seymour Wiener, 98 years old, World War II veteran. Last year, he became famous. The Mets made him famous. He's a super fan, but they made him famous when they featured him in their $1 Wiener night. You get a $1 hot dog, and Seymour Wiener was the face of that.
Love it.
But then Seymour Wiener sadly just passed away. He was tragically ripped away from us at the age of 98. He had a terrible, terrible case of being 98.
Okay.
But he said that he struggled.
I thought you were going to go with a food joke here, but I'm glad you have not.
He struggled growing up in Brooklyn in the 30s with the name Seymour Wiener.
Oh, sure.
Saddling a kid with the last name Wiener is bad enough. But why would you choose the first name Seymour?
Seymour?
It's a family name. Seymour Wiener? Nobody gives that. Of course he turned out to be tough. Of course he fought. He was a hero in World War II, and he lived to 98. You are going to be tough if you grow up with the name Seymour Wiener. Okay, so to basketball. Tyrese Halliburton,
Would you use a pickup line, though, and just say, well, here's my namesake. What do you think?
Hannah McCard, would you like to Seymour Wiener?
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton, who was just voted by the players in an anonymous poll the most overrated player in the association, beat the Bucks by himself last night. It was
wait. No, the Bucks gave the Pacers and Halliburton that victory.
Well, that's more or less where I'm going, because obviously Giannis Antetokounmpo wants out of Milwaukee, and rightly so. Get this. The Bucks have now been eliminated 3 years in a row in the first round of the playoffs. The last 10 playoff games that Giannis has been in, he has averaged 30 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 assists, and they're 1-9.
Can I ask you this, though? And I mean this seriously, because I like Giannis a lot, and I understand everybody's going, oh, well, he deserves, but he got one title, one. Two, how much does numbers do you think mean to Giannis? Because I think that means something. If he goes to another team, he can't have that kind of production. And I mean, part of it is a lot of guys on bad teams, because every team's going to score 100 points. A lot of guys on bad teams score a lot. So I wonder, could he play more of a role and be like Jokic, who gets guys more involved? Because I don't see that from Giannis.
6 assists a game is not bad.
No.
I mean, he's a solid player, and he is going to be the hottest property in the offseason. He is the superstar everybody's going to want.
If the Bucks will truly trade him.
He wants out of Milwaukee, and Milwaukee is not going to hold him hostage forever. Unlike, say, the Bengals with Joe Burrow, who are going to hang on to him even though it's ruining his career. Giannis is probably going to get out of there, and he's going to be the hottest property in the offseason. I'm not saying what teams might be in the market for a superstar, but I wouldn't mind having Giannis as a Grizzly one bit.
Do you really believe that the Bucks would trade Giannis to Memphis for Ja?
I'm just saying I'd take him.
You'd have to take Ja and Jaren to get that done, and I don't know if the salaries would make it.
I might make that deal. I love the Pacers floor. The Pacers floor has one of the greatest, because if you look at it, each baseline, it looks like somebody kicked over a bucket of bright yellow paint. onto the baseline.
It is weird.
Meetings were held. Emails were sent back and forth, and they eventually decided, you know what?
This is what we want.
We're going with the theme clumsy contractor.
I love it. Have you ever been in that building, by the way?
No.
That is the nicest arena I've ever been in. When they were starting to build FedEx Forum, we a number of journalists got chosen, and we made the trip over there to see what was then Conseco Fieldhouse, what it looked like. And they were supposed to model FedEx Forum to that, and they sort of blew the lower bowl because they didn't do the same sightlines that they have. And maybe they're going to change this when they redo FedEx Forum. But I think that's the nicest arena I've ever been in. I think it's fantastic, that place.
Indianapolis is one of those cities that when you're there doesn't actually feel like a city. I mean, their downtown just doesn't feel like a downtown. It's so weirdly spread out. You're like, is this downtown, or are we supposed to take a bus to downtown?
Right.
Inside the NBA has gone completely off the rails.
Oh, they're crazy now.
Of course, Barkley is being paid millions and millions of dollars a year to talk about the NBA, but apparently he's not required to like it. Because all he does is bitch about the NBA and how boring it is, especially the playoffs, how boring the playoffs are. And he's not wrong. It looks like it's almost inevitably going to be the Celtics and OKC in the finals. They seem to be on a collision course, and it is kind of dull. But he's been bitching about it. And last week, Shaquille O'Neal walked off the set during a live broadcast to go to the bathroom.
I saw that. That was actually a funny bit. And I will say this.
But it wasn't a bit.
The Kenny and Charles stuff that they've been doing, even though they say it's maybe boring or whatever it is, they were talking about the fight, and I think it was in the Cleveland series with Miami, about how Miami and Adebayo were going to fight back. And then he's going like this, and he just touches. That's the fight, Miami. He just touches Kenny. It was pretty good stuff.
NBA fights suck. They're not good fights. These are the best fights. Obvious hockey. Hockey are the best fights. And there was a really weird one last week. I wish I'd looked into this more, but there was a fight in hockey last week, and two players from opposing teams who used to be teammates stood and watched the fight holding hands. It was the oddest tableau I've ever seen in sports. Guys are wailing on each other, and these two guys are standing there holding hands like, oh, it's just kind of sad to watch this kind of violence.
Here's what I want to see. I want to see Dylan Brooks sucker punch Draymond Green. I love that.
We'd like to see anybody sucker punch Draymond Green.
That's true.
Arguably, he and Westbrook are probably neck and neck for the most widely disliked players in the league.
Well, Westbrook can't touch Draymond Green for being dirty. I mean, Draymond Green's just the dirtiest guy.
He is the dirty player. And baseball fights. Baseball fights are actually pretty good most of the time. One of my favorite things to see in a baseball fight is when you have a guy laying on top of the dugout, punching guys in it. Well, he can't be hit because he's laying on top of a slab of concrete. I'm not going to dwell on Shador. I think we've
on the free fall,
just the whole thing. We've worn it out. We knew. I did say last week he was going to drop out of the first round. I feel good about that. But
you didn't think he'd go to 5?
144th? No, I did not see that coming. And now the Browns have 5 quarterbacks,
right?
None of whom are any good.
Well, you know what Bear used to say, Bear Bryant.
If you
got two, you don't have a quarterback. If you got 5, my God, you really got a problem.
Now it looks like they're going to move off of Pickett, who really, I really thought Pickett was going to be solid in the NFL, and now he's going to be an afterthought. Aaron Rodgers, of course, is going to go to the Steelers, but that's not my point. My point is how terrible an organization the Browns are. So they've got 5 quarterbacks,
right?
None of whom are any good. So naturally, they picked up receiver Deontay Johnson. Last season, Deontay Johnson started as the primary receiver for the Panthers, and he had 30 catches, looked great. He was the number 1 target. Out of the blue, they traded him for a 5th-round draft pick to the Ravens. He goes to the Ravens. He lasts 7 weeks with them with exactly 1 catch and got suspended because he refused to play in a game because they weren't throwing to him enough. Then he gets waived. ends up with the Eagles. They wouldn't throw him the ball, at which point he was waived again. He was picked up by the Texans, where he managed 2 catches and was visibly upset that they wouldn't ever throw him the ball. So they cut him, at which point he briefly became a Raven again. It was a trade thing. Nobody really knows why that happened. So naturally, the Browns picked him up. This guy is like as big a headache as you could possibly run into.
The Browns organization is, I don't know what the heck they're doing. It all began with taking the Texans quarterback when he was halfway in jail. And, I mean...
Well, okay, that's one of the big things in this, is the owner. Shador was a decision by the owner of the Browns. And I have a question for you fellas. Where's my $1 billion? Because it seems like every billionaire is either an idiot or a lunatic. I'm neither one. Why don't I have $1 billion? It doesn't make any sense. You have to be crazy or stupid.
I don't know.
Because this is the same guy who loved Baker Mayfield. Now, I like Baker Mayfield, but he loved Baker Mayfield. He didn't.
Baker Mayfield was definitely, that Mel Kiper picked him as the number 1 overall pick.
I liked him. I still like Baker Mayfield. I think he's found a home in the Bucs. But the Cleveland is so badly run, they ran him off. They also, of course, the owner picked Johnny Manziel.
Right.
Picked Baker Mayfield and guaranteed all that money to Deshaun Watson, who's a lunatic and a bum. They're going to eat $300 million because of Deshaun Watson.
He's already said that. Yeah, it's crazy.
He's like, oh, yeah, I'll just,
and then,
I'll just eat it.
2 quarterbacks in the same draft. No one's ever done that before. Here's my question for you. If Shador Sanders, let's just say, goes 9-8, does he demand his jersey gets retired?
Apparently, he believes mediocrity is the key to immortality. Briefly, Donald Trump met with Commissioner Rob Manfred, Major League Baseball, and one of the biggest topics was reinstating Pete Rose.
I said all along, once he's dead, he belongs in.
Like I said, once he's assumed room temperature, fine, let him in. A lifetime ban ends when your lifetime ends.
Is up,
And I'm sure you saw this, the CBS interview with Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I saw.
Wide-ranging interview. Everything was on the table until they asked him about how he met his 24-year-old girlfriend, at which point, off camera, she said, we're not discussing that.
Yeah. Apparently, during that filming, she broke the...
A bunch of times.
A bunch of times she broke it. I don't know why Bill Belichick would allow that, but he does.
Because she's super hot and 24 years old.
I guess it adds to his legacy. He is some kind of character. All right, my friend, thank you much. Appreciate it. We'll see you next Wednesday.
I'll be here.
That is our man on sports. Dennis Philippi, brought to you by Family Leisure. It's pool time. You know that. Maybe the last day, because this is the last day of April. And they are already booking the pool installations for 2025. By now, of course, you get priority on the installation list, and I would do it because they're filling up fast. If you want your pool in for the summer, and we're getting close, you got to get in now, and now's the time to do it because 24-foot pools start at under $2,000. Liners start at under $300. All pool accessories are up to 20% off. And if you mention that you heard it here, you get free installation. You can't beat that combo. That's why you need to get to I-40 and Whidden Road and see our friends at Family Leisure. We take the break. Time for the business of sports with Joe Dank. He's right around the corner.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports56 and 98.5 FM. Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback and hands-on one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 Cordova, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-sized courts, 3 high school-sized courts, and 4 shooting days with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176.
Blessings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us. We can't wait to serve you.
Congratulations to Napa Cafe, celebrating 27 years of great food and service for you. Napa Cafe.
What happens to former real estate agents when they want to sell their homes? This is Sheldon Rosenberg, actually Sheldon, with Mark's Mansfield Realtors. I am so proud and feel so honored that former real estate agents contact me when they want to sell their homes. They know that I've been in the business for quite a while, have a great deal of experience, and know that I am good at marketing, not merely putting a sign in the yard and looking at sales. Over the years, I have developed a highly successful strategic marketing program that can mean the difference in what you make and you get. Talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure that I am one of them. So if you or somebody you know is thinking about selling a home, remember what other real estate agents who have been in the business do. They call me, Sheldon Rosenberg, at 483-0546, or email me at memphisrelocate.com. I will wait to hear from you and take advantage of this good market. That's 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Thank you.
It's time to get your Kia on at Gossett Kia on the Pike. How about a new ride for under $6 a day? 2025 Kia K4 LXS. We Gossett $159 a month. 2025 Kia Sportage EX. We Gossett $269 a month. And get more power, larger cargo area than Nissan Pathfinder in your new 2025 Kia Telluride S. We Gossett $398 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease, and they're all equipped with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Go see Bobby J. He's waiting to put you in your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Acquisition fee, 20,000 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 12,000 miles per year, $49.99 due at signing. Must finance through KFA, K4, SEO 87349, MSRP 25320, Sportage S719 2005, MSRP 30660, Telluride SG 596204, MSRP 41060. Includes all rebates and incentives. DF 895 excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/2/25.
Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC sports ball, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey from kickoff to first throw to extra innings. Your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 560 AM and 98.5 FM. North and South Sports Station.
We welcome you back in. Time for Joe Dank, former GM at Channel 24 and 30, former director and producer of television sports. He knows the business of sports. Let's start with the NFL draft. And I got to ask you, I heard 200,000, 250,000 in Green Bay. I know this started a couple of years ago. Chicago went crazy. Nashville went crazy. When did the NFL draft? Which to me, especially after the first round, is kind of boring. When did it become such this incredible April event?
Well, look, this is a relatively new development, but boy, it just keeps growing and growing all the time. Look, they did 200,000 on the first night. They did 600,000 over the 3 days in Green Bay, which is absolutely amazing because you have to keep in mind something. The city of Green Bay, Wisconsin, the population is 105,000 people. They doubled the population each day.
It tripled the population, basically, from 100 to 300.
Yes. So, I mean, it's absolutely
what kind of an
unbelievable.
economic impact would that be?
Well, they were expecting just under $100 million impact for the state of Wisconsin and just around $20 million for Green Bay itself in terms of hotels. And it took, they had to go to a wide area to get enough hotel rooms to
Right.
accommodate the people coming in. So hotels were being booked from Milwaukee all the way up to Green Bay, which is about 90 miles. They were as far away as Wausau, Wisconsin, which is about 75 or 80 miles from Green Bay.
North?
North and west. So everything, all the hotel rooms were filled up. But they accommodated the crowds. They had relatively few problems. There wasn't as much spill into some of the general community that hoped for different kinds of retail activity, food and beverage activity, as they might have anticipated. But look, this thing exceeded all expectations. It was a great revenue driver. And Green Bay had that truly exclusive and interesting thing. When you go all the way back to Curly Lambeau, the founding of the league, the original nature of it, where the guy who owned the team, coached the team, and played for the team, that's Curly Lambeau.
Yeah, right.
That stadium.
It's like Chicago, the Bears and Hallis.
That's the league, those
Yeah.
two situations,
Yeah.
and that makes it so unique. And now the stadium, this stadium opened in like 1956. So it's still there. Now they've renovated it, but the original bowl and the playing surface, that end zone is where Bart Starr made the sneak.
Right.
And they still play there now. So
They'll play there
it's a
forever.
unique, special thing, and it all came together with these crowds. And I don't know how much of it you watched, but those drone shots over the area. And
I watched a bunch of it, but I didn't watch day two. Oh, I did. I take that back. I watched a bunch of day two because of Shedeur Sanders, and I can't wait to get into TV ratings. But I think people fell in love with that story, so it probably helped the television ratings on day two.
Yeah, it really did. But I was about to say, though, those shots showed that setting of where Lambeau Field is. It's literally in a neighborhood.
Oh, I know.
On both sides of the stadium, there are homes.
Yeah, and isn't there
Homes.
like a park that they go skating and maybe a slide or something right next to it?
The Packers several years ago started a development called Titletown. We've talked about these mixed-use developments, with the centerpiece being a pro stadium or arena.
Well, that may be
Green
going on
Bay
with the
was
Grizzlies.
really one of the first of these, and it's called Titletown. They bought up a whole bunch of land adjacent to the stadium. The Packers did. They put in a Bass Pro Shop. They put in a hotel associated with a cola company. They put in all these food and beverage restaurant opportunities there, but there are also townhouses and apartments there. There is a sled hill. Very strange that the Green Bay Packers felt you had to build a sled hill in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The entire city is a sled hill in the
Right.
wintertime. You don't have to build one. And there is a skating rink there. There's a full-size football field there as well. It's impressive and interesting, but it's just been a huge... Ever since they remodeled the stadium, it has been such a year-round revenue generator for the Packers that they say that's what kept them competitive. And they've been competitive.
Yeah.
They have not had a dip. We went through 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, right? And
They've never had, it seems like. They went right from Favre to Rodgers to Love.
Right.
And haven't missed a beat.
haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
So, great.
Do the
And-
Packers own Titletown?
Yeah. They
But
bought
who,
the land.
who really owns
They-
the Packers? You could buy stock in it. Who is really the guy that owns
Well,
the
the
Packers?
fans.
Do they really?
The fans, it is a non-profit organization. When you buy your share of stock, some of us in this room know about how that works. You give them the money.
Do you own the Packers?
I have a share.
So let me ask you: do you get anything from that? Who gets the
You get a
TV
certificate.
money?
You get a certificate.
Would you ever get like $1 check from the TV
It is
money?
a non-dividend stock, and it can't be sold.
What did you buy it for?
It's like $250. It says you're an owner of the Green Bay Packers. I did it. There were 2, and they just did one recently. There have been 3 probably in the last 15 or 20 years. So we did it. You have to do it.
I love it. All right. What were the TV ratings like?
So-
We know the crowds were great.
Crowds were great on site. Crowds were great on television. Thursday evening, round 1, 13.6 million viewers. This is combined through the various ABC, ESPN, NFL Network, all
Right.
carrying it at that time. But 13.6 was the viewership. That's 11% better than last year. It's the second best day one ever.
13.6 million
That's right.
people
Yep.
watch that draft. Oh my gosh! What did the NBA playoffs? What was their highest rating?
Well, so yeah, I was going to say, for perspective's sake, The NBA playoffs, just through these first 2 weekends, ABC, ESPN averaging $4.45 million per game. The draft did
So basically,
13.6.
this is 3 times
that.
And this is for competition
I know.
in the playoffs. There's nothing like the NFL. Seriously, I don't know if we go back to the World Series back when television really was getting started for sports, maybe you got better numbers than what the NFL does when there was only 3 networks. But I just don't think there's anything like this anymore. Nothing can compare to what the NFL. Even the Olympics don't do that, do they?
No, not close. The NFL is bulletproof. They've built the perfect mousetrap. People have done it. You spoke about the Shadir Sanders, him staying active through Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
The Friday and Saturday viewership this year was up by more than 40% because everybody was staying around for those second and final rounds to see what the heck happened with him. So you went up to 4. They were still averaging, very well over the weekend.
They were basically averaging NBA playoff numbers.
They were.
Just to see if this kid would get drafted.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's incredible to me, particularly because that was afternoon stuff. You have a conspiracy theory on this? Because I just don't think that folks think he's that good. I've heard race card things, attitude things, don't want to deal with dad things. I just think the NFL takes anybody if they think they can win with him. That's my theory on it. They don't think he's good enough.
Right. The track record of the NFL is we want the best players, and we know how to look the other way if there's something that troubles us. So why would anybody think that there was something here in that regard? I think it nets that they just plain and simply don't think he's as good as advertised by the so-called experts who had him as high as in the top 5 picks.
Well, I think some of that
crazy.
is. I really believe Mel Kiper's and all of ESPN's attitude about it was how we couldn't possibly be this wrong about the guy. And I do think, though, it ended up being a great thing for the NFL because it improved the TV ratings on days 2 and 3.
Saturday did 4.3 million viewers, Dave. That's up 43% from the prior year. And that's all simply driven by Sanders.
I agree.
No question.
That is crazy. All right, your NBA playoff ratings, what they? Do you think good at 4.5 or 4.7, whatever they were?
Oh, they're good. They're real good. They're plus 13% over last year. So there's a big growth story on the NBA playoffs. And so they're doing extraordinarily well. The league has to be pleased. Look, double-digit increase is double-digit increase, right? So they'll take it. The Lakers and T-Wolves series did particularly well. That was a Sunday afternoon game on ABC. Did 7.5 million people. Just under 7.5. So a good number. A good number.
I think there's some really good series, too. I mean, to me, the Detroit-New York Knicks series is fantastic. The Giannis thing last night with Indiana, they blew the game, and then the Halliburton dad, that stuff was crazy.
Now, that was NBA TV, so it's going to be suppressed because of the platform, but nevertheless.
You know what, though? I'm going to tell you the truth. I think a lot of people went there because TNT's studio show said, oh, my gosh, look, there's 20 seconds left in this overtime game, and something crazy is happening. So I immediately went to NBA TV to see the end of it. How many people, I wonder, were like me?
You weren't alone.
Yeah.
I would believe that. Should note, the 2 Grizzly OKC games that were played here in Memphis.
Yeah.
Thursday night, that game did 1.9 million viewers. It was minus 46% versus the previous year, so that's an unfortunate issue there. Saturday, they did 1.98 million viewers in that Saturday afternoon window.
Yeah.
So think about this. We're just talking about the ESPN draft that afternoon, doing over 4 million on Saturday. And the Grizzlies OKC did less than 2 million. That was minus 2% in the time period on Saturday afternoon. So.
I was really surprised, seriously. Not that I want to ever belittle this market because I love it and this team, but I was shocked that TNT took this series, and there were other series with bigger markets that were on NBA TV.
A lot of people said that. I have this theory, and I think I'm right about this. The NBA and the television networks think that OKC is going to be around for a while in these playoffs, and they wanted to make sure that they're introducing this team, which could make the run
Makes sense.
all the way to the final because
Makes
they're
sense.
underexposed throughout the course of the season, as you know.
Right.
And so I think the Grizzlies just happened to piggyback on this opportunity that the number one seed that OKC is going to have to potentially hold up the ratings through the finals if it goes the way they think. So
makes
doesn't
sense.
that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why they were there.
That's why we have you on here all the time for that brilliant insight. Next week, the Grizz are at a crossroads on a lot of fronts. Big Three and their money, arena lease. Where are the media things going to go? Is FanDuel going to be around? I don't think so. They're going to have to refigure that. We will address that next week. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that so much. Joe, brought to you by Southern Security. There is your home team credit union, voted the best in the market the last 6 years. And by the way, I should point out, they're just there with the best rates. They got flexible terms. You get the lowest possible rate on your mortgage at Southern Security. No PMI, unbeatable service. And your current mortgage, if you were to refinance, you will get the best possible deal from the best mortgage lender. For more info, visit southernsecurity.org, or you can talk to a human right at the office at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is an equal housing lender, proud supporters of the Tigers and of 901 Women. Southern Security is your home team credit union, federally insured by NCUA. We take a break. Johnny Lyon, Mickey Barker, Greg Hines. We're all going to make golf picks here. We've moved to Dallas. We are at what used to be called the Byron Nelson. Now it's called, which is interesting, it's called the CJ Cup. And they got some new turf. We're going to talk about all of this with the gang on golf in just a minute.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? We have it covered at Humdinger. It's quick, it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. Many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of area jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by area just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier is the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Jenkins Floors and More invites you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Hernando and Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, specializes in flooring, tile, lamination, shutters, and blinds. Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Got to give a shout out and thanks to Elijah Seegers, our producer extraordinaire. He's the guy that keeps up with all the numbers on this. So, Greg Hines from Winddyke, he was the winner last week because he had Novak and Griffin. I wonder if there will be a Zurich effect. I'll ask him that in just a second. So he was the winner. Mickey was in second. Mickey, by the way, leads us now. He'll go last. Greg will go second to last because we gave him $2 million. I go second overall. Johnny Lyon, who had every player last week miss the cut. The defending champion reeling this year. He's got 2.17 million. He will go first. First, I got to talk about the Byron Nelson. And I'm going to start with Mickey Barker on this because he's rebuilt several golf courses, so he knows grasses. Tell me about Tiff Tough grass, because this is what they're playing on, or at least portions of this TPC in Dallas. They are playing on this particular kind of grass. And it's supposed to be the newest, latest, greatest. I don't know if you've got that at Audubon, but tell me what you know about it. Good morning, Mickey.
Good morning, Dave. Tiff Tough, I really don't know a lot about.
Really?
We did Tahoma 31 at Audubon, and we did Latitude 36 at Pine Hill. So those two I know are great. So if it's better than either one of those two, it's a fantastic turf.
Well, it's supposed to be the newest, latest, greatest hybrid Bermuda. It's supposed to be better heat resistant. It's great with cold. It keeps its color longer. So they're going to this on the TPC courses, I guess, particularly in the South. I thought that was interesting.
Hey, Dave, it's out of University of Georgia, and it's kind of been developed to compete against Zoysia.
Really?
So kind of to have the properties, where it does a little bit better with cold and does a little bit better in shade, and it's a better drought tolerant type grass.
Wow!
So those are kind of the main things.
Does it sit up like it does with Zoysia? Because if you've got Zoysia that's got durability and heat resistance, isn't that the best surface?
I mean, you're going to get down a rabbit hole you might not want to go down. I mean, I'm not a huge Zoysia guy. I'm a Bermuda guy. I think Zoysia is a little bit slippery. I think it makes the game too easy. And I'm a guy who wants to see the game be easier. But I love a good Bermuda fairway. And if they could make Bermuda where it got a little bit greened up and got a little bit fuller a little bit earlier in the year and stayed a little bit that way later in the year, I think it's the best of both worlds. I think it's a home run.
Johnny
I think
Lyon.
It's a home run.
Are you, Johnny Lyon, a Bermuda guy or a Zoysia guy?
Bermuda all the way. Yeah. I mean, it says
Johnny's
on
a
the
grass guy.
website
He just likes to play on
that,
grass.
Yeah, that's true. Johnny will play on any surface.
Yeah. Well,
100%.
I just got back from Fighting Joe and the school teacher in Florence, and it was all on bent grass. So I haven't played bent in a little while.
Have they made bent more tolerant to heat? Because that was remember years ago, Cordova Club tried to do the whole golf course in bent grass, and it burned up in 2 months.
Well, Turtle Point is a pretty nice club, and they have bent also. But
all right, let's get off of grass for a second. I've noticed this. When a patriarch dies, like Byron Nelson, the tournament never seems to do as well. The field for this thing, it does have the Texas players. It's got Scheffler, it's got Spieth, but the field is not the same. So let me ask the guy that picked the winner last week. Yeah, why do you think that is? And do you think that your two guys will use Zurich the same way that McIlroy and Lowry used the Zurich a year ago and had great years?
Yeah, I don't know if I see that happening in Novak as much as Novak's the one's been playing better. I think he might have a chance to do well and see a pretty good year out of him this year. I don't know if Griffin's going to be able to catapult, but you never know. Hey, I mean, momentum's momentum, and in the game of golf, we all know when we catch a little momentum, it helps us out a lot. So No doubt about it. Yeah, I remember when Byron had one of the best fields out there. And
Ever.
It just seems like it's kind of quieted down the last few years, and it doesn't seem like it's drawing the way it used to.
Which makes me wonder, Johnny, do you think when Jack Nicklaus passes, and I hope it's not for many, 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 many years, but what happens to his tournament in Columbus, Ohio, if he goes? Will it stay as big as it is, the Memorial?
All these tournaments seem to lose a little bit every year after they pass. So, the Arnold Palmer's tournament still hanging in there, and Jack's tournament I think will hang in there for 5 or 6 years for sure. Just have to see how it goes. But,
it's a signature event, is it not? Which probably means it'll help too if it's a signature event.
Yes.
Am I wrong?
Well, no, that's Palmer. The Palmer is a signature, isn't it? And that's why I think it stayed so relevant.
And Memorial is as well.
Yeah. Mickey, Colin Morikawa has struggled. He's decided he's getting a new caddy. He has taken the guy who was filling in when Justin Thomas broke his 3-year drought and won a tournament. My question for you, I used to have this debate with Brett Norsworthy all the time when we were talking about Tiger and his former caddy, Stevie. How important is a caddy? You've played a lot of competitive golf. What do you think the caddy's role truly is? And can Morikawa getting this new caddy that's already won a big event this year, can it make a difference?
I just having something new may make a big difference. His caddy is that he just got rid of is one of the best out there. Been around for a long, long time. But Joe Griner, I think.
Yeah, Griner.
Joe Griner. I think he's a fantastic caddy as well. Obviously, Justin Thomas really liked him, and he got him the win at the RBC, but he did not keep him, which, he has a good caddy in Minister, and so I guess that's why he wanted to stay. But I think it's all personality. If their personalities mesh, I think that's perfect. But if they don't, or over time they change a little bit, caddies come and go.
All right, let's talk for just a second about this golf course, which is the TPC course. And, I mean, my gosh, it's long. 7,569. They got one hole that's 635 yards. Greg Hines, does this course favor a long ball hitter? Is Scotty Scheffler the guy?
I mean, I certainly never would bet against Scotty Scheffler. And it seems like in the modern era of PGA Tour, the long ball hitter seems to always be the guy that's right there. So I wouldn't bet against the long ball hitter this week for sure.
Johnny, 75-69. What do you think of that kind of length?
It's terrifying for someone like me. I can barely hit the ball 200 yards. But
well, that's why you're now 72. You get to move up tee boxes.
Yeah, golf gets harder when you get older. But yeah, I think this is a terribly long course, and the long knockers are going to have a huge advantage.
I tend to think that is correct as well. I'm looking through the field. I'm trying to think of who are the really longest guys and see what's the really skinny guy who's really come on. He's not in this thing. Or wait, Siwoo Kim. Siwoo Kim, he's a long ball hitter, isn't he?
Not overly. He's not a real long. Jake Knapp, I think, is the one you're thinking of, and he is playing. He probably hits it further than anybody with the least amount of effort that anybody out on tour.
All right, we better get to this. Remind me next week. I want to talk about TGL expansion and bringing in the LPGA because I think that's pretty interesting. But we're running out of time. So, Johnny, you get to go first in this rare position of being in last. I hope your guy makes the cut this week.
Yeah, it was. I kind of threw me a curve when Greg jumped in there, so I was, all prepared to take Rory. But it was a bad week. All I can say is try better this week, and there's no doubt I'm taking Scotty Boy.
Yeah, I don't blame you. So, I've done well with Canadians over the years. I'm gonna go with Taylor Pendrith. So, Greg, your
champion,
turn.
yeah.
My turn. I'm gonna go with Sam Burns.
All right, and our leader by over a million, Mickey.
Well, he's playing at home. He's number 2 on the board, so I'll take Jordan Spieth.
Oh, wow. I'm interested. Actually, he was not on my list. He was way down. Johnny.
Well, yeah. I mean, Jordan hadn't won on the PGA Tour since 2022, so I wish him all the luck. Got to go with Jake.
Oh, God. That's where I was going. You're killing me. Jake Knapp. All right.
I'm down. I got to make a comeback here.
I'm going to go with the guy. Well, I shouldn't. He just won. I'll try Michael Thorbjornsen. That was Mickey's guy last week.
Easy for enough for you to say.
I know it.
I'm going to do Rasmus Højgaard.
Oh, okay. Højgaard?
Højgaard, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Mickey?
Well, since Greg took Rasmus, I'll take Nikolai.
There you go.
Wow. Both of them in there. Nikolai. All right. That means, Johnny, your last pick.
I'm going to take the guy who just won, Ben Griffin.
See, I was going to take him, but I don't think he's going to perform 2 weeks in a row. I'm going to go with Sungjae Im. Greg?
That's a good one.
I mean, how do you not? I think I have to pick Siwoo Kim.
Okay. Last pick of the day. Mickey.
Will Zalatoris. He's got to play better at some point.
You know what? I almost went with him. I really did, because I do agree with you. I'm just not sure he's healthy. Once he has a good week, I think it'll be a nice run. So it's Johnny's got Scotty Scheffler, Jake Knapp, the long ball hitter, Ben Griffin. I've got Pendrith, Thorbjornsen, and M. Greg's got Sam Burns, Rasmus Højgaard, and Siwoo Kim. Mickey's got Jordan Spieth, Nikolai Højgaard, and Will Zalatoris. Thank you guys for playing and for talking, and we'll do it again next week.
Yep. Thank you. Thank
There
you, Wolo.
you go.
Sounds
Thank
great,
you
guys.
all.
Have a great week.
See you, Mickey.
Take care, guys. Last portion of this Wednesday brought to you by Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf. And he says to him, the number 5 is very important. Not only is that the number of strokes he makes on a par 3, but he recently sold another home after being on the market for only 5 days. Actually, he says he sold many homes within 10 days and has even sold them before they hit the market. He also just sold 2 homes in 18 days, one in Lakeland, the other one in Germantown. But he sells all over, including Collierville, East Memphis, Midtown. Keeping his clients happy is critical no matter what number of days or hours they're on the market. That's why you often hear when you want the job done, you better call Sheldon. And if you know somebody who's thinking of selling, talk to 2 or 3 real estate agents. Just make sure he's one of them, because he's got that highly successful strategic marketing program that nobody else has. And it makes the difference. It really does. You can reach Sheldon at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Remember, memphisrelocate.com, or call Sheldon at 483-0546 and start packing. That'll do it for us. The usual Thursday lineup tomorrow. Johnny Radio's next. Have a great day, everybody.